I'll just carry on briefing you while the satellite connection to Kabul will now be discontinued, and we'll let General Bradshaw carry on with the rest of the day. The Secretary General will now start his round of pre-summit consultations with capitals. During these visits, he will exchange views on summit topics, which, as you know, are Afghanistan, capabilities and partnerships. Tomorrow will be the first opportunity for the Secretary General to meet with the government of Prime Minister Rajoy in Madrid, and after that he will go on to Rome on Friday, where he will meet, among others, Prime Minister Monti. And prior to the summit, we also expect him to visit London and Berlin. On the 3rd of May, the Deputy Secretary General, Ambassador Vershbau, will travel to Moscow to attend a conference on missile defense. This demonstrates that NATO remains committed to a serious dialogue with the Russian Federation on this key issue. And I would say that together with the recent successful exercise with Russia on missile defense, which took place in Germany, and of course with the discussion with Foreign Minister Lavrov at the ministerial here on the agenda of the Chicago summit, this shows how closely Russia and NATO continue to cooperate. And finally, Kosovo. As many of you will probably know from media reports, the 2nd Battalion of the Operational Reserve Force has now been activated and will deploy to Kosovo shortly. This is part of our prudent planning and positioning to make sure that we have the necessary forces to do the mission. KFOR's mission is to preserve a safe and secure environment in Kosovo for all the people of Kosovo. And this decision is based, as all such decisions, on an assessment of the security environment and in order to make sure that we are well prepared for any possible escalation of tension. But clearly it's important that everyone in the region should avoid both words and deeds which could lead to any further violence, because Kosovo needs to look forward to the future, not to the past, not the past of confrontation, but to the future of European and Euro-Atlantic integration, which is what NATO would like to see for the whole region. And with that, if there are any questions from you, I'd be happy to take them for about 10 minutes. Anna.
Yeah, it's just on Kosovo. Can you just remind us how many forces extra in this overseas battalion, and if it's just Austrian and German troops? And, well, basically it's just for the elections, no? I understand. Thank you.
The 2nd Battalion is composed of troops from Germany and Austria. And the details are about 550 German troops and about 150 Austrian troops. We expect them to be arriving very soon. And obviously, in terms of why they're there, as I said, this is because we always have to take into account all contingency planning, and we also need to be aware of any possible escalation in tension, because our mission in Kosovo is to make sure that it remains stable and secure, as we have done for the last 10 years. Over there.
The government of Pakistan decided to attend the NATO summit in Chicago. Have you extended the invitation to them, or they did not confirm that they have?
There are still ongoing consultations on the participation to the summit and the guests to the summit. What I can tell you, as I think I told you not so long ago, is that we expect the meeting on Afghanistan to be the biggest in history. So therefore, the summit will be clearly one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in NATO history. On the details, we'll let you know when we have them. Over there.
Oana, do you have some news from Moscow about a new ambassador? Thank you.
We expect an announcement from the Russian authorities. In the meantime, there is, of course, an acting ambassador, so we are continuing to conduct our cooperation and communication with Russia as usual, and in fact very effectively, because you're all here, I'm sure, when Minister Lavrov was here just the other day, and that session was extremely lively and constructive.